So by default, when you compile C++ code, it goes through the O0 optimization flag. And what this means is that the compiler is not going to do anything fancy to optimize your code. But whenever you're releasing your code, it's recommended to run something like O3 optimizations. So if you pass this parameter in, then the compiler is going to optimize as much as it can. In this video, I want to specifically go over what is an example of an optimization that can happen. Because oftentimes I've always just been like, okay, well, of course, if you do a release build, just do O3, but I never really thought about what type of optimizations can specifically happen underneath the hood. And I think it would be best to go through just some simple for loops. Suppose I've got a very simple function here, int sum 100. All it does is calculate the sum of the first 100 numbers from 0 through 100. And if I go to my int main, you're going to see that I'm just calling that function and I am displaying the result. Let's run this without any compiler optimizations and see what happens. So I've made the file and you can see that the answer is correctly printed as sum 100 equals 50/50. But in order to understand what is optimized, or in this case what is not optimized at all because we passed in no compiler optimizations, it would be helpful to look at the specific assembly that's been generated. So for this we can go through LLDB and then we can put a breakpoint on sum 100. And if I run the file, we immediately breakpoint right on sum 100, and as I keep stepping through, you're going to see this for loop. So I'm going to have to zoom out real quick just so we can see it clearly. And what you're going to see here is code that looks awfully similar to what you or I might expect the compiler to do. If we've got a for loop, then of course we're going to assume that the compiler is going to generate that for loop in assembly. And as expected, that's exactly what it does when we do not turn on any compiler optimizations. So if I keep pressing SI to go to the next line, you're going to see this arrow moving down as it goes through this for loop. So let's keep pressing SI a couple of times and see what happens. So I'm here and the arrow keeps going down. We've got the iteration, of course, so we're incrementing I, and then, we're coming back to this line once more. And then of course, we're going to do it again. As you can imagine, it keeps going like that, so on and so forth, about 100 times. So that's what happens when you don't have any compiler optimizations enabled. Let's see what happens when we enable some optimizations. So for this, I'm going to be running this O3 optimization, and now let's see what the code becomes. Now, of course, the result is the same, sum 100 equals 50/50, but let's check out what happens inside the assembly. And here's where something very interesting happens. We're going to see that the entire sum 100 function has been optimized away. It's completely optimized away. And somehow the compiler, because we enabled optimizations, is able to figure out this specific number that needs to go in as the result. You could see here that we've got sum 100 here, and there's nothing to step into anymore. So if I press SI a couple times, you're going to notice that we didn't go into the function. There is no for loop. There is no way for us to step into the for loop and through the for loop 100 separate times. That just doesn't exist anymore. The compiler completely optimized that away. And once we come to this line of code, which somehow actually has the exact result that we're looking for. So somehow the compiler was smart enough to realize the exact result of 1550 and just generate that without going through the for loop. So let's print this out just to confirm that this is 1550. So I've copied that and I'm going to do P like so. And there you go. If I print out this variable, it's generated to be 50/50, which means that the compiler optimized away the entire sum 100 functions behind the scenes. That's absolutely insane. And that's why you want to use compiler optimizations, because when you or I look at code that looks like this, we might think to ourselves, well, that looks good. There's no problems with it. But the compiler can be way smarter than us in optimizing this away. So obviously the sum 100 example is a very simple approach, so let's do something a little bit more complex. So I've got a vector here, and I need to initialize it like this just to prevent the compiler from fully optimizing everything away. And we want to sum the values inside of the vector and return the result. That's all this is doing. I've ran the code without any optimizations enabled, and let's see what happens. Go to the next instruction and then step into this function. And again, we're going to see this for loop loop right here. So if I zoom out a little bit and I keep pressing enter, you're going to realize that we've got that same sort of loop instruction going on here. And again, this is what you and I might expect, because we just think, okay, well, we've got a vector with the for loop, so of course the assembly has to look exactly like that, right? This is something that you or I can kind of read and understand and be like, okay, this makes sense. But what happens when we enable compiler optimizations? When we enable compiler optimizations, you're going to see something very interesting. So now the compiler has done something that I personally would have not expected, which is it seemed to have converted this simple for loop that iterates over the vector to add the variables up into some sort of SIMD operations. SIMD stands for single instruction multiple data. It's actually a pretty complex topic, so it's not just something that most people are familiar with, including myself. I'm not actually fully familiar with how SIMD works, even though I do know how to program GPUs. SIMD is kind of like that, but instead of, having hundreds and hundreds of parallel threads, I think you can split it up between 4 or 8, depending on the CPU. So basically, the C++ compiler was able to not only convert this into SIMD code, but it's also unrolling the loop. So it's doing 2 separate optimizations that it thinks will allow you to achieve your results much faster. And so something as seemingly simple as some vector can also be optimized in ways that most of us may not think about when we're writing the code. And that's the reason why O3 optimizations are generally recommended to run if you're going to create a release build, because the compiler can just do way more magical things than we might be thinking about, when we're writing the code itself. And yeah, that's what I want to talk about in this video, which is just what is a compiler optimization and how does enabling compiler optimizations actually help speed up our code. If you made it this far, hit the like button and consider subscribing for more random C++ deep dives just like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.